Hi, everyone. I'm here to present poster 359 by CS for All, Opportunities and Challenges for Scaling a Systems Approach to CS Education Adoption. As you might know, CS for All has a program called SCRIPT, which stands for Strategic CS for All Resource and Implementation Planning Tool. The SCRIPT is both a framework and a tool that we use to catalyze systems change by helping districts and local education agencies or authorities to plan and implement computer science education for all students. And we do this by offering workshops for district teams in which we do 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year goal setting across 5 different areas: teacher capacity development, materials curriculum selection, leadership, partners, and community. We ask for these districts to bring diverse voices to the table. So we request a district leader, a school leader, a CS teacher, and a non-instructional or instructional staff member from one of the district schools to attend the workshops, so that we create what we call a computer science working group in that district that is able to enforce or implement these 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year goals towards the broader computer science implementation for all students. We began this program in 2017, and after understanding the validity of the model, which you can read in our references here in our poster, we began having a very high demand for script workshops throughout the country. So we soon had to, CS for All didn't have the capacity to attend all the districts that wanted to go through a script workshop, and we began thinking about different methods of scaling scripts. I'm here to present the 3 different ways in which we've been scaling scripts in the last 3 years, and the things that we've learned, positive things that we've learned, and negative learnings that we've had over the years, which have made us choose one path over another. As you all know, the policy landscape and the administrative structure of the United States doesn't allow for a uniform implementation of computer science throughout all of the states. We do have to understand that different states have different standards and different mandates for CS education. So we needed to also tailor our approach to something that fit these different contexts that we had to deal with in the 15 states. And we also wanted to honor our mission of really getting high quality and integral CS education for all. And whatever scaling method that we chose should have to align with this mission. So as you can see in our poster, we've tried 3 different scaling methods. The first one is building a facilitator cohort, which we've done in many ways, but this has been our most successful scaling method to date. What we've done is that instead of having CS for All run all around the country training districts directly, what we've done is we train computer science advocates and computer science experts all around the country in the different states to build within the state a statewide cohort that can offer script workshops to the districts and local education authorities within that region or state. And with this way, what we've managed to do as means of positive learnings is to create very individualized follow-up plans for the districts that are within a state or a region, where we've trained facilitators, and facilitators can track data and use this data to inform the progress of the states of the districts in a much better way than CS for All would have capacity to do. And what we've done is create regional cohorts of facilitators that create now a community of knowledge and support, and can share the information of how they're delivering the workshops, what they're learning from the workshops, what the districts, what most common next steps the districts have after a workshop, how they're implementing computer science education, what are some strategies they're using, what are some challenges they're facing, and building these cohorts and therefore really catalyzing the efforts to implement computer science education within a state or region. As you see in this map, we currently have facilitators trained in 28 states within the United States, and the differences in color respond to the differences in the level of implementation. So the blue states would be where we really have facilitators trained that act in a more individual way. They have less interconnections between each other. The dark pink states are those where we have what we call a statewide efforts, in which either a state Department of Education or national university, some sort of state entity is actually involved in building this cohort, filtering data, and following up with districts. As you see, we still have efforts to go. We still have some room for growth. So hopefully we will be able to achieve that in the next few years. As for the negative parts or the negative learnings, is that CS4All is the only one who to date can train for facilitators. Therefore, we are creating a bottleneck onto the growth of these statewide cohorts. So in part due to this this fact that that we're the only ones who can train facilitators, we decided to go to an approach, scaling strategy number 2, which is having national symposiums once every year, where we bring together facilitators to be able to train them from multiple states to build capacity in multiple states or multiple regions at the same time, so that we're not focusing on creating statewide cohorts, but rather a national cohort and building or sparking statewide efforts in different regions, and then allowing them to grow with CS4All support, but after that that specific intervention. And the symposiums have served us, they've had a very important goal at CS4All, which was that we were able to refine the facilitator training or the facilitator workshops due to symposiums. And what we've learned is that the facilitator training is much more effective when we do the training, when we train facilitators by seeing a district workshop in action. So they receive a one-day training specific for facilitators, and after that they participate as teacher assistants or trainees in a district workshop. So this has allowed this has actually allowed us to refine this facilitator trainings. But on the negative side, it reduces the local focus that we can have during a workshop, and it reduces the actual opportunity to build statewide capacity, because due to capacity constraints, we can only have 2 to 3 facilitators for every state or region within the national symposium. So as you'll see here, this has helped to spark momentum in different states, and but unfortunately, after the national symposium, CS4All still has to go to those states if they want to increase their capacity to train their facilitators. And this has happened in Iowa, Pennsylvania, Maine, Oregon, Connecticut, etc. So it's very good at initiating the momentum in different states. It's not that great at creating actual capacity and allowing the initiative to grow in the different states. And of course, now with COVID, it's so in our minds, trying out virtual workshops. So we actually piloted a virtual workshop in 2019, even much earlier than COVID and all of this virtual learning spree that we've had recently. And when we tried this, we did a pilot program with one LEA from Indiana, and the positive side was that we allowed a much larger team to participate in the pilot. So instead of having just 4 people, as I mentioned earlier, we were able to accommodate up to 13 because they could connect virtually and we didn't have space or cost limits. However, what we learned in the virtual workshops, the way that we did them in 2019, was that even though it had great scaling potential and it was good for equity outcomes because it allowed us to reach very remote LEAs, we really, it wasn't good for creating engagement at a district level. And the team kept changing, people, they stopped attending, and we were only able to complete 4 out of the 6 initial modules that we had planned throughout the year because the team was so disengaged that it was very difficult to continue. We actually, these conclusions, lack of engagement, meant that we were not actually bringing high quality CS4All, at least planning to the district. So we decided to discard the virtual models as a way of scaling, and COVID has brought it back to our lives. So now we're actually trying to explore the virtual workshops further. We've refined the content, we've refined the materials that we use, we've included many more activities to engage the districts while they're working, and specific requirements to make them, instead of throughout 6 weeks, we're trying to concentrate all of the content of the virtual workshops in 2 to 3 weeks, so that we have that peak of engagement that we would have in an in-person workshop. And we are trying to really have our facilitators, our local facilitators, which normally have those personal relationships with the districts on the ground, to actually implement the workshops and not a CS4All anymore, because we're too far removed for actually for the districts to see us as a reference. So we will be able, hopefully, to present more results on this scaling strategy in the future. Thank you, everybody. Hope you like our poster and our research.